G'day mates, welcome back to my YouTube channel. In today's video, I'm doing a follow-up interview with none other than the NA East FNCS champion Muzz. I interviewed him before, but a lot has changed since then. I wanted to get his opinion on OC versus NA East. What does he think about other pros like Reed's team potentially moving regions? What did he learn? How did he increase his practice? How did he go from being one of the best in OC to one of the best in NA East? And pretty much everything else in between. How does his team dynamic work? How is Boog and Miro as teammates? Everything you'd want to know. So it's a fantastic video. Make sure you check out all of Muzz's socials. Links will be in the description down below, and I hope you enjoy. I'm gonna keep the questions super simple. Obviously, the first one out of the gate that everyone's gonna want to know as well is, when you first went to NA East, did you think you were gonna win? Like the first season, I say you, Speedy Luda, did you think you guys had a chance at winning, honestly?
No.
No. Okay, how well did you think you were gonna do? Did you think you were at least gonna make grands?
Yeah, I thought we would have at least made grands, but I didn't know how we would perform if we did, because POIs are like everything, are just like a good drop spot, especially in the grand finals. Like at Misty, like if you have a spot like that uncon, you just get so much loot. Like we were always getting so many pad spawns and stuff. But if you compare that to the drop I was with for Speedy and Ludo, we went to like the Hydro Dam and there are like barely any spawns. Like you just never get launch pads.
Do you think that makes switching regions really hard, right? Because obviously everyone has the whole conversation like Reed should go from NA West and Arkham, they should go over there. But like if you know you're not going to get a drop spot, right? Because people in the regions aren't going to give it to you and you haven't been going there for a long time. Do you think that was one of the hardest parts with region swapping?
100%. Like we literally knew coming here, Speedy Ludo, that when we came here, getting a drop uncon was going to be next to impossible, basically. Because, I mean, like, no one really has any respect for OC, no matter how good you are.
Yeah.
And they're not going to give it up on their own region.
Yeah,
so like, we tried alphaing up retail, but then Smacked was there. He's never left.
He's never left.
And Lazy, you've got Stretch there. He doesn't care.
Yeah.
And then I mean, there weren't really any other spots to go to, honestly. So we tried that Hydro split.
Yeah.
That like, I didn't really like the drop. It was really, I've never played a split drop in my life. It was just really different.
Yeah. Okay.
I just didn't like it at all. It was too shambles.
Fair, because I mean that's going to be the biggest reason. That is going to be one of the hardest things when people talk about region swapping. Is just getting a drop spot, especially if you come to NA East or EU, like the two big regions. Like, do you think
100%.
Do you think knowing that it would have been better for you guys? Obviously, because it's kind of weird. You can't go as like solos and then find teams. But if you think if orgs were looking to people to change region, right? Because you're now the biggest success story of changing regions, having success. Do you think that's maybe how orgs should do it? Is find a solo player and bring them to the region so they can try to find a good team or something like that? Because you just like the trio thing is just probably not going to work.
I don't know if it'd be a good idea to bring a solo player. Like, let's say, for example, let's say you bring another trio from OCE.
Yeah.
You know, if you just brought one guy, there's a really high chance that one person is not going to end up getting like a really high tier trio.
Yeah.
And even if he just did good, like I mean, he could do good in solo cash cups and get picked up by like a half decent team.
Yeah.
But I don't know if I've told you this before, but I also streaming the tournaments is how Miro chose me.
We were saying that on stream. I was saying, like, because a lot of people talk about streaming tournaments, it's always about money, but like some people don't talk about it like the opportunity. I was saying that on my stream. I don't think there is any chance you would have got picked up by a team of that caliber if you had not streamed when you first got there. Because that's how you built up reputation. It wasn't just like,
Miro,
they were watching you play.
Yeah, literally, he said, give me 24 hours to get back to you with a response on if me and Booger want to trio with you.
Yeah.
And then I got a response 3 hours later. I'm like, wow, that was quick.
Nice.
And he said he wanted to trio. And then I asked him, how did you like make your decision? And he said, we watched your VODs from like a lot of tournaments on your Twitch.
Let's go. As hell for now, because obviously because I obviously pushed a lot of people to stream tournaments, but I'm like, I get why they don't want to like stream sniping or the pressure and chat's annoying. I get that, but like, yeah, that was definitely the biggest one. On that topic of Boog and Miro, so obviously you and me were DMing that night. You were DMing me like we're trying to figure out what's going on. Did you think that even before that night you would have been able to find yourself on a team with Boog and Miro? Did you think that was even slightly possible?
No.
Okay.
Everyone just looks down on OC, like I said before.
Hey, I mean, they gave you a chance and you won literally the first one. That is crazy. On that topic as well, do you think there are other players from OC or smaller regions who could do really well as well? I know this puts you in a weird spot because it kind of makes you have to ego whether you think you're different, but do you think other good players, like obviously out of OC, people like always throw in the words like Worthy and Volks and stuff. Do you think players like that could have a similar success story, or do you think yours was kind of like a once off?
I mean, to replicate like what happened with me, like getting lucky with a good like tier 1 trio like that is really hard. But if we're speaking in terms of who would actually do good in like, let's say, cash cups or whatever, and probably qual tour grands, honestly, I would probably say either Folks or Vortex.
Okay, Vortex has been going nuts.
Yeah, but literally the only issue is like they would have to adapt just like we did.
What was that like? What was the biggest change? Like, what's the first thing you noticed, or like what are the major differences you noticed from going from playing OCE, winning 2 FNCSs, to showing up to NA East? Like, what was easier? What was harder? What was different?
I don't think anything was easier, honestly. Like everything was really different and really hard. So the thing I noticed the most when we like first started playing scrims or tournaments is, for some reason, the Storm Surge here just hits like a...
They're just better, yeah, because everyone's better at finding it. The IGLs are higher caliber, they play in better lobbies, and as IGLs get better and push more for Surge, everyone else is. Like, people are rotating earlier because they know, like, man, we need like 300-400 damage, where if you're playing a region where that threshold's lower, everyone takes their time, they loot, they don't set up in the best spots. Yeah, Surge is a different demon on East, for sure.
Like, yeah, no, that was one of the biggest surprises, actually, because I didn't expect like Surge to be that difficult.
What about fighting teams? Did you notice fighting people was harder?
In what?
Like just like scrims, like tournaments, like did you feel any difference in the mechanics of the people you were fighting? Was it easier? Was it harder?
Some people, obviously, I mean, they're just good, but I think like average skill level, kind of. I mean, it depends if you're fighting in like a laggy lobby, it's that you can't really determine if someone's like like top tier mechanics. But if you're fighting them in like a cash cup, for example, you could probably determine that.
So did you notice any difference? Like, if you're playing solo cash cup, did it feel harder when you got to NA?
I think solo cash cups, I feel like I didn't really notice a difference in the fighting. However, it's just that OC cash cups weren't stacked, so I had to get used to stacked solo cash cups, which was the only like boundary I had to face with solos here.
Okay, but the fighting caliber was pretty similar. Like, it didn't feel that different.
Yeah, because there's just like so many people. I mean, you'll either come across like a demigod average player, or just like some kid that doesn't know what he's doing.
When you say I have to like start preparing to get used to those stacked lobbies, obviously a lot of people I've talked about as well, how much preparation you put when you got to NEs. Like, you showed up mad motivated. What did your schedule look like in OC versus NEs? Was it that many more hours? Was it just because you were in NEs, you were like, I just want to Kovacs like all the time? Like, you started practicing like crazy. Was that a big difference to what you're doing at OCE?
Yeah, the main thing that made me want to grind harder in NA is because in OT I had IRL school, so like half of my day was filled up with schoolwork, and then the other half I was just either like playing scrims, tournaments, and then I'd have to sleep early because I had school the next day.
Yeah.
But over here, I really just like, I had a lot of time to do what I needed, so I just like, got used to how they played here. I obviously started playing Kovacs. I didn't really play it back in OC, but I knew that if I wanted to take myself to a higher level here, Kovacsing would help for sure.
So what was your schedule? Because obviously we've already done it into like, what was your schedule like in NA then? Like, what did a normal day look like? Because obviously you went from being like, very, very good. A lot of people had high expectations, but I don't know if anyone would have thought you were on NA East FNCS to them winning, right? So like, what did that schedule look like on a normal day?
In NA?
Yeah, in NA.
Honestly, just wake up, go on my phone, just chill, have a shower, just eat food, and then hop on my PC. I just play Kovacs for fun as well, so I'd hop on Kovacs like straight away.
Okay. For how long?
Roughly? I'll do it an hour, roughly,
Jeez.
When I wake up, and then like 30 minutes before I get off.
Okay, so about an hour and a half of Kovacs a day. Okay, so after Kovacs, what's next?
Honestly, just chill for a bit, like watch something, maybe watch some Netflix, watch some Twitch, chill streaming.
So chill for like, so you got like an hour of Kovacs, hour of chilling, and then like, do you start scrims then, or do you like start playing like creative?
We did like, I can't even remember how many scrims we played. It's like, it was below 5 or some shit.
Okay, so scrims weren't a lot. Yeah, because you came to NA right as the scrim scene kind of just died, which is unfortunate for you guys. You really didn't get that practice in.
Yeah, no, scrims were literally just dead. Even with Booger, we didn't play a single scrim.
See, do you think that's a big deal then? Do you think that's normal? Because like some people put a huge emphasis on scrims. Like Tayson's been known for being like, you need to get as many scrims as you can. Do you think like you didn't need scrims that much? Because you went from, like you said, OCE where Storm Surge wasn't that hard, the lobbies weren't as stacked, to playing in insanely stacked lobbies with almost no practice, and you won FNCS. Do you think that's normal? Do you think that means scrims maybe aren't as important as everyone thinks? Or what's your stance on that then?
I feel like scrims, they're not really too important. I mean, in my opinion, I think scrims are probably just best for like alphaing a drop spot to get an uncon in the grand finals. But I feel like in those stack lobbies, it's literally just game sense. Like Booger's really smart with all that stuff.
I guess if you have an IGL then though, because if you were the IGL, then you probably need the scrims though, right? But I guess if you're playing like support or frag, you kind of just follow them, so maybe you don't need it as much then.
Yeah, Booger's just really smart with what he does. He puts a lot of thought into it. Like he will plan ahead, in endgame especially. Like he will plan ahead 2 moving zones or something.
Yeah.
So we're just on track, you know, we know what to do. And then me and Mira just trust Booger's calls. Booger told us that actually made him feel really confident in Grands, because we didn't question anything. We just went with them.
Just did it. That's sick though. I feel like that's so important. So it is. I always say like a whole team making the wrong decision together is still going to end off better most times than 3 separate people making 3 separate right decisions. Like it is 100% like just trust it and go with it. Because Booger's known for not really wanting to IGL that much. He always says like, I don't want IGL. I don't really think it. You guys want FNCS with him as the IGL. So clearly it is working, and like you can vouch for that as well. And you fell into the support role, which you've never really played before. So you guys just won FNCS. You came from another region with no practice. Do you guys think you'll be able to back it up in Grand Royale now with more practice? Are you guys confident going into it? I mean, you were the best team a week ago, so
100%. If we end up qualifying to Grand Royale,
yeah, it's a weird system. It's a weird format. Yeah.
I think we can pull a top 3, 100%.
Nice. That's crazy. Yeah. That's insane to go from, because obviously like you did back-to-back FNCS OC, came over, there was high hopes for the whole trio, but then I think things kind of like broke down a little bit at the start of the season, obviously then picked up by Booger and Miro. Did you think, so what was your plan after, so your first season you guys didn't do too well over here, what was the plan for season 2? So you're going to stick it out with Speedy and Luda until this officer came along, were you then going to go back to OCE now? Like would you be going back to OCE now if you had not started playing with Booger and Miro like Luda is, or what was the plan for you?
So the plan was, I kind of wanted to find a new trio, because that was 2-3 months we spent with that first FNCS and got basically nothing out of it. Like we weren't placing in trio cash cups, DreamHack extras. Yeah. I mean, just like I wanted to make some money too, so I knew that for that to happen, I needed to get like a really, really good trio, because all the money from a season comes from like FNCS. Yeah. So. Wait, what was the question again?
No, so what was the plan? So what was the plan with you got? Like, would you be going back after this FNCS if you didn't perform? Obviously, it's kind of a hypothetical now, but what would this look like if you didn't just win FNCS?
If I didn't end up getting picked up by Booger and Mira, and I was still with Speedy and Ludo, because we would have stuck this FNCS out together. Yeah. And if we did bad in this, I would have stayed for Grand Royale, I think. Yeah, okay. And then after that, I probably would have left, because I mean, if you don't do good in 2 FNCSs... Yeah, it's a long time. That's like 6 months. It's almost half a year now. Yeah, it's literally 6 months wasted. Like, I left school to come and do this, and I just...
See, I like that, though. You got, like, the actual, like, this is a job mentality. Like you said, you got to NA, you have all this extra time, you didn't spend it just watching anime and dicking around. Like, you actually started practicing a fair bit, which is crazy. Like, a lot of people don't do that. And what's the plan now? You got another year, right? Like, now the plan is stay in NA for a year, yeah?
Yeah.
How does your family feel about that? Because I remember, like, obviously way back in the day, your parents weren't super supportive of you gaming. That's what we talked about last time. Like, you did well in solo FNCS. Your dad didn't even want you to buy a PC. You ended up getting it. Like, how do they feel about you now being in North America? I mean, you just won a huge event for lots of money. I'm guessing that helps. But is there any issue there, or they're pretty happy as long as you're still popping off?
First of all, my mum, she doesn't really know how any of this works. I mean, like, she's one of those mums where she doesn't really know anything, especially about esports.
Yeah, she's been out of it.
And her English is like half bad as well, so it's kind of hard to explain things to her. Okay. So me and my dad are like the only ones that talk about it a lot. So he was completely like fine with me coming here. When I went up to him at home and I'm like, I got the offer to go to America. Yeah. And he instantly said, go for it.
That's cool. Like, that's such a big turnaround for your parents. From the other day, that's amazing from back in the day.
It was so unexpected because literally
cool.
like 6 months before that, he wanted me to get off the games and do like schoolwork.
What changed that? Is that just because you started placing and stuff? Obviously, like, is it just because you started proving you could make some money out of it? Because obviously it's from a place of caring. They just don't want you to waste your time. Like, they're not doing it because they don't like you. They just want you to be spending your time properly. So I guess maybe showing it was a career just turned him around, or...
Yeah, my dad used to think video games were a waste of time, but after that solo invitationals, the one I got third in, that's when he kind of had a little turnaround because I made $7,000 from that.
Yeah, like that's good. That's very good for most parents, but...
Yeah, I told him I started streaming, and that streaming can be pretty huge if you just stick to it. And then came Power. When I joined Power,
it's like an actual salary too. It's like payment.
Yeah, that was a big turnaround for him because it's someone really big and trusted that runs that org.
Yeah.
So when he saw that, he's like, you know what, this could actually like work.
Cool.
So basically, and then we won FNCSs.
Yeah.
And I guess after that, he fully supports me now.
Yeah, now you got to the point of NA. It's like, well, look, I've already won 2 FNCS. If I win one over there, which I do, it's a lot more money. That's cool. Like, that's a nice turnaround. Because that's like, I feel like a lot of kids always watch these videos, always ask, like, that's such a question. Like, how do I convince my parents to let me, pursue gaming and stuff? And I don't think it's like you just say one thing and they turn around. It's just like, look, just give me a chance, give me some time, and then you've got to prove it. And then you've got to actually be able to make something of it. Because they don't not let you because they hate you. It's just like, look, you just don't want your kid wasting their time in their opinion. They do it because they care, but that's a cool turnaround. So now you've got a year left in NA now, right? Like that's pretty much the plan now, at least a year?
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah.
What's the plan next then? So obviously after Grand Royale, is there any game mode you're hoping for? Is there anything you're looking forward to especially, or just kind of taking it as it comes?
I wouldn't mind solos, but I think duos would be the best.
Yeah,
for competitive,
for sure.
Because obviously no one wants trios. We've had that for a year.
It's a bit stale,
Squads are just chaos. No one likes that.
Apparently, everyone likes squads. I was blown away by it. I woke up today and everyone was talking about how they want to squad FNCS. I was like, I don't understand. I'm not going to make this video about that, but that one, that's what I thought. It's literally just like 4 teams get a good drop spot and good loot, and then it's just a tarp and spray simulator. I'm like, I genuinely think people don't remember FNCS squads properly. But so you prefer duos, but I mean, I know why you want solos because you've been popping off in solo cash cups. Like solo FNCS could be huge for you.
Yeah, but I mean, solos are also like really tilting.
RNG, headshot snipe stuff. You're pretty cursed when it comes to closing out a solo tourney without getting headshot sniped. Or just like, I can imagine what that would be like if it was again like your first solo FNCS and OC. Imagine that, but for 10 times the money. Like it would just be so painful.
Yeah,
damn.
I mean, duos is honestly just the best option.
Yeah. Last question I want to ask, obviously I'm fascinated by this because it's actually really cool. I was watching all the Europe stuff with like Become Legends and stuff. How's like the whole TNA house dynamic going on? Do you think that motivated you being around other people who are playing in like that kind of atmosphere? Like, do you think if you just moved to NA and you went to like a random house in Virginia, like a lot of the other pros, it would have been different? Do you think you're self-motivated or what's that all like?
I think I'm self-motivated because if you compare the house to that Become Legends video, I mean, they're like all together in one
that's
like
crazy.
room playing. And you have all that hype and stuff. But here it's like you live in a house, you have your own room, you do what you want,
and then you hang out in between.
I just kept to myself, grounded myself.
So that's nice.
And here we are.
See, that's cool. That's sick. All right, guys, that does it for another video. If you enjoyed it, please chuck a like. Let me know in the comment section down below. If you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel. Check out all of Muzz's socials. Links will be in the description as well. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one.